all of our athletes are through to the semis of the 100 meters, although one of them almost gave all of us a heart attack. We'll talk about that. But all of our hearts were pretty much broken following the news that our national 100-meter hurdles champion, Megan Tapper, will not be competing in Tokyo. We'll delve more into that situation a little bit later on. But this is our version of the podcast that will look ahead to all things happening in Tokyo, and it starts right now. Welcome you back to the Sports Club Podcast. My name is Donald Oliver, and we're looking forward to all the happenings in Tokyo at these 10th World Championships. And of course, the team is back together again after the opening day salvo yesterday. Leighton Levy is back. You're looking forward to, well, day two as well as looking back at what took place day one, right?
Absolutely. It's been an up and down day, from some of the activities of the mixed relays, the battle this morning, and of course looking ahead to the 100 meters, which were quite encouraging, except for that little bit of drama surrounding Oblique Seville. Of course, obviously everybody's sad about Megan Tapper, but as you mentioned, we'll talk about that later on.
Kishane McGowan back with us. Trish.
Hi, happy to be back with the three of you.
Yeah? Vibes all right? Everything good?
Of course, our athletes put on a show. Literally put on a show.
Yeah.
Especially Samantha Hall, I'm really happy about that. Disappointed for my sister, Megan Tapper, but we'll discuss that further.
All right. And Daniel Blake is also in the building. Daniel, oh God.
I actually haven't left the building. I've
You stayed here?
Yeah, I just changed my clothes because I've been so excited to see our athletes.
Wow, that's crazy, brother. But it's good that you're here. Good that you took time out of your busy schedule, not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm glad for that.
I'm here till the 21st.
Is there a shower here?
No, I was good. You know what? Let me leave it at it. We're going to be joining our man on location in Tokyo, Andre Lowe, at this time because he will have all the latest on what's happening at these World Championships from a Jamaican standpoint, and it has been an interesting day of track and field. But we are going to be starting off, Andre, with the latest news of Megan Tapper and what took place with her over the last couple of days. Of course, we heard the news last night that she did suffer a hamstring strain. Talk to me, Andre, about what has happened in that regard.
Yeah, good day to you, Donald. Good day to everybody in the studio. Konnichiwa, welcome to Tokyo. Again, yes, certainly some bad news. And for the second time, an athlete has had to withdraw from these Tokyo 2025 World Athletics Championships due to injury. Of course, Rochelle Clayton in the 400-meter hurdles a few days ago, and now Megan Tapper in her best season, pretty much suffering a grade 1B hamstring injury. It's not a major injury in the sense that it's not something that's going to keep her out for a long time, but it's going to keep her out long enough for her to miss the women's 100 meters heats, which actually start tomorrow. Well, my time anyway. So tough for her. It's been a really good season for her. 12.34, a new personal best, not once, but twice. Of course, puts her in a total different level in terms of performance. So yeah, big disappointment for Megan. Spoke to her today. She's devastated, but you get the impression too that she's taking a positive from it. She has said that, you know what, spoke to her medical team and they have taken the decision rather to focus on, her long-term security and ensuring that, she doesn't do more harm than good. So tough break, but she'll be back and she'll be stronger.
Yeah, it really is devastating news for her, especially considering the fact that she was at the peak of her powers this season.
Yeah, Donald, like I said, really bad timing. It has been a really good year for Megan. And when you put that in the context of the type of year she had in 2024, and I think some parts of 2023 when she was dealing with all those injuries, all those setbacks, was not able to, put her best foot forward and show her real potential. Came back in 2025, won at the national championships when not too many persons had her to win that race. Very strong field, of course. And then ran a personal best. Not once, but twice. You know, like I said, very unfortunate for her, but we certainly hope that her recovery will be a smooth one and that she'll bounce back and be able to compete again in the near future.
Absolutely no surprise that every one of our athletes are through to the semis of the 100 meters, though, Andre.
Yeah, so the men's and women's 100 meters heats, as far as Jamaica is concerned, certainly went to script. I mean, maybe not the Oblique Seville heat. A little nervous, a pretty shaky start, but he's not worried, and so I'm not worried. He's usually a very good starter. He didn't really give an explanation as to, what happened, what caused him to sit in the blocks like that, but he did well to recover and is safely through to the semi-finals, so I guess no harm done, right? Akeem, of course, had Noah Lyles in his race, got a very good start, did well to maintain that for much of the contest, and of course Noah is going to run past most people at 80 or 90 meters, and he did that, but Akeem as well, relatively comfortable in progressing to the next round. Kishane is many persons' favorite for the 100 meters. Remember, Jamaica has not had male 100 meters gold medalist at the major championships since 2016 when Usain Bolt won at the Rio Olympic Games. Many people think that this is the year. Kishane looks the part, very powerful, very commanding, very relaxed. Again, very businesslike, did not speak to anybody in the mix zone, said he's going to do all his talking on the track, and he'll speak to us after the semi-final and, well, the final, hopefully the final tomorrow. The women as well, very comfortable. Sharika Jackson, very powerful, very easy, very relaxed in qualifying to the semi-finals. Shelly Fraser-Price, 38 years old. She has been here before. Yes, she had to work a little more, perhaps than she would have wanted to, with Marie Jose Talou and the others in that heat. But she's also relatively comfortable through to the next round. And Tina Clayton, easily my best interview today. Not because of anything I said or asked, but just the maturity in her response. And that maturity certainly matched the maturity that she showed on track in qualifying for the semifinals. Hard to see that, this is actually her first major senior international championships. She looked like she has done this before, right? Out of the blocks, did her first 50 meters, shut it down, right? That's the kind of performance you expect to see from someone who is seasoned at this level. But yeah, very good showing from Tina. She said that was the instruction from her coach: execute, 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 and she certainly executed in her heat.
Yes, and as you said, you did speak with Tina Clayton after the race. Let's hear a little bit of what she had to say.
The main focus was to execute, make sure I qualify, and it's a great feeling. It's like a dream come true that I can't tell you how the little child inside me is very happy. And this is one of the goals I had from I was small. So now that I have accomplished it, I am very grateful.
And I'm sure you do have bigger plans, bigger ambitions for these championships.
Yes, I do. Some things are left to be unsaid, as my mother said. But it's the main focus to just take it rounds by rounds, and after that we will see the results.
What was the instruction from the coach?
Execution. It just has to execute properly. So that's what I did. Make sure I get out for the first 30 and execute technique and everything.
Yeah, and she did went on to say in that interview with you, Andre, that she was glad that she was able to have the support of her sister, who has been with her and been giving her advice as well, Andre.
Yeah, that's right, Donald. And, this is against the backdrop, the context that Tia, who, made it to the final of the Olympics last year, was not able to qualify for the individual event here in Tokyo. Of course, she had that injury and finished outside of the top 3 at the national championships. But Tina has, made it clear that she's not just here to perform or to compete for herself. She's also doing it for her sister. Her sister, who she says has given her ears no rest in a very nice sisterly, jab. She says that Tia has been giving her a lot of encouragement, a lot of advice. Let's not forget that Tia has done this before. This is actually Tina's very first experience at the senior international level at a major global meet. So, yeah, it's clear that they share this very special bond. I know she wants to go out there and represent herself, or represent her sister, and I have no doubt that that's exactly what she's going to be doing tomorrow.
All right, Andre, thanks for that, and continue to do the good work over there in Tokyo.
Yeah, man, Donald, thank you. Not a problem, right? It's been my pleasure. And I just want to say, by the way, big up to everybody in the studio. I really enjoyed yesterday's show, and I can't wait to see the rest of the episodes, right? Now, big up all our viewers as well. Stick and stay. Big thanks to our sponsors, Jen. Again, leak me anytime. I'm here, right? We're having fun. It's the World Championships. Talk to you guys soon, right?
All right, Andre, no problem. Thanks very much, brother. All right, so let's get straight into it, and let's talk about the 100 meters, because Oblique Seville, goodness me, I mean, what happened there? He finished third in his heat. The time, 9.93 seconds in that first heat. I know what he said afterwards, that, the start was a little bit shaky or whatever, but that was pretty obvious. But he didn't really give a proper explanation as to what took place. What do you think happened?
Well, I've been getting multiple reports, and it suggests that there was something that was distracting to him prior to the start. Noel has alluded to it, that he saw him
Panicking was the word that he used.
So I don't know what exactly were the circumstances. What I do know is that when your reaction time in 100 meters is 0.286, it doesn't usually end well. Fortunately for him, it didn't turn out too badly. He finished third in a heat, and that's actually the third fastest time going into the semifinals. But he wouldn't want to go into the semifinals and have a repeat of that. So whatever it is, I was told that he's fine now. So we can only hope with our fingers crossed that there are no further distractions in the semifinals, because it could be more costly than a third place finish in a heat if he messes up in the semifinal.
Drama usually follows him though, Trish.
Yeah, and always follow him at the wrong time. And that's the unfortunate part about Oblique. And I think, we can sit here, I think Leighton used the word yesterday, we can only go by what we see. And when things constantly repeat themselves, it then raises the eyebrows. But lucky for him, he's that good. He managed to pull back, and he's into the semifinal. And like him, I wish not to, delve too much on it, because he's into the semifinal. And he missed out, then we could sit here and, elaborate and have that discussion. I really hope it's behind him, whatever it is. Like Leighton said, we have heard multiple reports, multiple stories. And I think Lewis Johnson, that I think works for the US station, he made the statement that Oblique said to him personal issues would have contributed to that. Then one of our journalists from Jamaica, Noel Francis, said that he told him that, just an incident at the start, but he recovered. And, so like he said, the multiple reports, Noah Lyle saying he saw him panicking in the back. He's a gamer, but whatever it is, I really do hope we will see better of him in the semifinals.
Yeah, speaking of that, and I want to talk about Oblique briefly, but I dislike what Noah said in that interview.
What did he
The
say?
reason why is that for Noah, as someone who has advocated for mental health and everything like that, yes, I know that he's a trash talker.
Outside of the
But
starting lineup.
for him to go on TV and say that he knew that would happen because he was panicking in the back, I don't think that's anybody's business to say, except for Oblique. No,
It's a public space, and the question was posed to him.
No, Daniel.
No. What I'm saying is that if he had just left it at that, saying that he knew it would happen and that's it, but to openly say that you saw him panicking, we actually should not know unless it came from Oblique himself or maybe a journalist wanted to leak
Why?
that. Because I believe that something like that is very personal.
No, I don't think so. We have seen.
No, if this was something physical. So, for example, if he was running and he pulled up or something and Noah commented on it, fine. But this is something very personal.
When
for someone
Marie
to
Josette
panic-
Talou said she saw Elaine vomiting, was she out of place?
Yes,
No, that's not how it
in
works.
my view.
No, Daniel.
I
listen.
think that there are some personal things that shouldn't be said.
No, no.
If it doesn't happen on the track, I don't believe that it should be said unless the athlete themselves say it.
No.
That's just
Listen,
This is not a private
You're
matter.
here to compete. You have someone who you see as a direct threat to your opportunity to win. Why would you not want to take advantage of that?
And it's not only, while some will see it as taking advantage, and we have always, bashed Noah about his speaking out of turn, right? For me, we are journalists. All four of us sit here in that capacity. Now, when the question is asked, he could have answered either way and said, it's unfortunate. I saw that he was in discomfort in the call room, wherever it was, as well as he could have been direct, which he was. So for me, I understand where many Jamaicans will come from. And I do understand as well where Daniel is coming from when he stated that he shouldn't have said that. But I don't think it's a place where he shouldn't have said that. It's like being an eyewitness to something. And you're asked. You can say, I didn't see. Or you can say what
Do
you
you
saw.
know he didn't know that he was panicking until Noah said it?
Listen,
And what I'm saying is, he could have said he didn't see anything, as well as he could go ahead, which he did, and be the eyewitness, all I'm saying.
In every sport, when there's a direct rivalry, every rival who is savvy enough will do something to try to get into his opponent's head.
Yes.
This is exactly what Noah Lyles is doing. Noah Lyles, there's a reason why he's a multiple-time champion. He is savvy. He knows how to punch your buttons. He knows how to get you to react in a way that will benefit him. That's what he was doing. Noah Lyles is the typical American who understands what it takes to get the better of your opponent. I don't see anything wrong with it because I'm thinking, look, like someone like Usain didn't need to do that because he was just that superior.
Right.
But when you're knowing that this is a person who's beaten you twice this year, and you see them doing something that is extraordinary prior to a race, of course you're going to take advantage
And
of
knowing that you can ruffle their feathers
Yeah,
as well.
of
Maurice
course you're
Green,
gonna do that.
And that's the thing, right?
Maurice Green said it before, during the pandemic when he did an interview with World Athletics on Instagram regarding, him going back and forth down the track. And he said he already knew, including some of our Jamaicans,
That he got
that
50%.
feathers that they ruffled.
Yeah,
I can
but-
understand, again, from a Jamaican standpoint. Of course, I empathize with whatever happened back there, if anything happened, because as well as Noah can be blowing things out of proportion because
Yeah.
we weren't there. No, again, Daniel spoke about the mental health aspect of things, Donald and Leighton, and that's something that I pay attention to, especially having two brothers and men. But for me, if you ask me a question and I witness something, it's my place to share or not to share.
And you shared, which is,
And there's no wrong in that.
yes, it is.
So hold on a
In my
second.
view.
I think you're defending Oblique because you picked up that he's probably really vulnerable at this time. We've seen in the past where certain dramatic situations follow him. You are obviously concerned that his feathers are ruffled.
Not concerned, because for someone, as Leighton said, to have that reaction time and to come back and run sub 10 is pretty extraordinary. So
I mean, he's fast.
yeah, so he's if it was a case where it was maybe if it had happened to Akeem Blake, for example, and he had that type of reaction time, I'd be more concerned because we know that as good as Akeem is, he's not a 9.8, 9.7 runner at this time. I just believe in a setting like that, when the call room is a very private place, he's preparing for his race. I don't believe that it's another athlete's business to go out
No,
and
but
tell,
to be
tell
fair, he
everybody.
used the word panicking, right? And I never
But-
took it as something personal.
Yeah, but it's not so private anymore since cameras are back there. We can see when they're
But we
taking
did,
off
but we
the
didn't
clothes.
see it.
That's
And
the
but you
whole
never
fact.
mentioned
We
what
never
everybody
saw
else
it,
did. The people
but
in the
maybe
in the
others
room
there
did.
did saw
And,
it.
and Noah said it in such a way like, yeah, I saw him panicking and
Well,
almost,
the,
yeah,
and
the,
because-
the
almost mocking him.
tone in
because
which he
again-
said it in, I can
because
understand.
he's trying to
And-
get into his head.
Yeah.
And to some degree, he may have succeeded. Because one of the things that I think we're all overlooking here now, this is going to be a very seminal moment for Oblique Seville's career,
Yeah.
right? This is fifth championship in a row 4 of which he has not delivered on the promise.
Yeah.
So the reality is, and Noah Lyles knows this.
He knows this.
He knows this.
I think he smells the blood.
Right? So exactly, he's like a shark. He smells blood in the water. So you see your opponent losing grip on something, whatever the circumstances were. Of course, you're gonna say it and get it out there into the public space because it will eventually filter back to the athlete you're trying to get into. Right? So what
people keep forgetting as well, gentlemen. This is a business,
Yeah.
People want to be rubbing shoulders. Hi, how are you feeling?
No,
Listen, that can happen.
This is
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I choose to not be bosom with you, we're not friends with everybody at work.
no,
Let's not pretend as if we're friends and we want to
But I
rub the
don't-
shoulders of
but I
somebody at
don't-
work if they're not
but
feeling
then
well. No, we don't.
I don't think he needs to be friendly towards him. He could have just left it alone. And especially because Noah himself has said that he's an advocate for mental health.
And that's where
he has
and
gone through depression. He has said that on record.
Daniel, you're
So for
preying
him
on
to-
something, and I
Daniel,
don't like that.
No,
You're
no,
preying
no,
on,
no,
you
no,
are,
what I'm
you
saying-
are, you
I'm
are,
just- no,
Daniel.
Do
what
you
I'm-
think?
No,
Do you
I
think
don't like that.
if Oblique Seville does not deliver on this occasion, he can go back to Adidas with any leverage whatsoever in terms of renegotiating his
No,
contract? That's
but-
the point.
But what I'm saying is that, yes, Oblique is under pressure, but I don't believe it is a competitor's right to go out and tell their
This is
personal
not
business
right.
like that.
When
But that's just me. I know we have
when Muhammad Ali took the dollar and started to do this and going to say he's going to beat the gorilla in Manila with Joe Fraser, what do you think that was all
No,
about?
but
That's
again,
not-
I think you guys are confusing it in that if Muhammad Ali had said him did looking at this man room and see that him was crying and whatever and come on TV and say it,
That's different.
that's different.
But
No,
this is
as
a
in
public
that
space.
analogy is different because
They're
he
there in
wasn't
the call room.
exactly.
He
It
was-
was the
it's not a private
conversation that he had
setting.
with Noah
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Sometimes when they're in the call room nowadays, I'm like, I feel like I watch certain movie because they're taking off their tights and so on and so forth. It's just that we did not see that moment in particular,
And
but
then
the
he
cameras
went
are there,
and
so
said
it's
it.
not that private,
And he
right?
went and said it.
I want to always shield our Jamaican athletes.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, while we beat up on Noah Lyles and say, yes, he overshares, he talks too much, I am just saying two things can be true, and I stand heavily on that.
All right, we have to move on. Let's
Yeah.
talk about a more confident athlete, Kishane Thompson.
Yeah, he looks
Goodness
good.
me, 995,
Yeah,
and he was cruising.
I think he looks. This is the best I've seen him look in a while. Not just in terms of the time, but in terms of how he performed. If you realize he was so relaxed in the last 30 meters, knees up, looking confident, looking like, yeah, I'm here to win now. Because I think there are two ways in which disappointment can impact you. Last year when he came second, when many people expected him to win, he would have probably gone away thinking, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe there's a reason why I'm not be able to deliver.
Right.
I think he's managed to put that in the rearview mirror now.
Mhm.
He knows he has something to prove here. He knows he has the talent to do it. And I think we saw an indication of that in how he executed that heat. He dominated the heat. He was very comfortable. He ran well. Look, this is also a heat. So nobody's going to be on his shoulder
Right.
stressing him out. But for him to execute the way he did this morning suggests that he has found another level of confidence that regardless of whatever happens between the semifinal and final, he'll be ready for it and he'll be prepared to win.
I think success is like that. You get a taste of something good, you want more. And I think having a full season after all the injuries and promises he would have had prior to 2024 season, coming to Paris and getting that silver medal, what he thought, wow, I almost had that gold medal, was enough to whet his appetite, and he's hungry for that gold medal. And he's showing that throughout the season, even when he's beaten at the Diamond League meets and whatever, he's still, solid. Whenever he gives those interviews, you can hear him confidently, the phases in which he's working on with Stephen Francis and the MVP group. And I think that, things are coming together well. It's just a matter of what he will do now when the pressure is on his shoulders in the final. That's the real test. And I think that he's looking the part at the moment.
And I think he's more mature now as well. I think the experience in Paris last year would have taught him a lot. And I think he would have taken on those lessons and used them to his benefit this season. I don't think he's lost a race this season. and he's run well for the most part. Even those races where he's tightened up a bit at the end of the races, but he still won. And I think winning is a habit, and I think that habit is now becoming the thing on which he will build for these championships, and well, looking likely that he's going to win the gold this time.
How has he improved, Daniel?
I think just his confidence. I think ever since he got that silver medal, his message has been consistent. He keeps saying that the only person that can beat him is himself. And I think that shows somebody who knows that if they can get everything right, or at least 99% right, then that they will win. You know, a lot of our conversation around the 100-meter final last year, as great as Noah did in coming back, we were pretty critical. Well, I shouldn't say pretty critical, but we knew that how Kishane executed that race wasn't the greatest. So if he has done the work, which we have seen him do from the start of the indoor season to now, you know, the sky is the limit for him, especially when it comes to the time, because if, in my view, he walked and did that time, you can imagine now just getting into his rhythm and going into the final. The only thing that may end up being a deterrent is the field, knowing that there will be 7 other competitors who are chasing the same thing. 8, sorry. So he just needs to have that mental fortitude, which I believe he has built throughout the season.
And let's look at the field, Shoshana, because the Africans are coming and the Americans, of course, are always there.
Kenny looked really good, and so did Noah. And I think, you know, separating themselves from the rest of the Americans, looked very confident. Simbini also looked good. But the real test in these sprints come down to the semifinals. That's where the real test is. And then the ultimate one is the final. But I think that Kenny looked really, really comfortable. What will he do in the final if he should get there? I see him getting there. Noah, like I said, you know, yesterday we spoke about him. And even if you dislike the guy, you have to give him credit. He's a championship performer and he gets the job done.
Looks really, really good.
Yeah, I was wondering, I mean, was that a fluke, 987?
I don't think so. He's been running consistently well all season. And I think what we've seen now is that drop that comes with consistency. And he could be somebody who pressures somebody enough to get them bounced out of a final, because in a semi, based on how he looked this morning, where we saw him earlier, you see someone, if you looked at his face in the last 30 meters,
looked composed.
He was very composed, and he looks like he's here to compete and to contend, not just to be a placeholder or a number. He looks like he's coming to do damage. And based on what we saw this morning, you know, obviously took Oblique by surprise, but he could do the same in a semifinal because he's running confident. He looks like somebody right now who's ready to run either 9.8 low or 9.7 high. If he does
and the thing is, while he looked like that in qualifying, I tell people sometimes the turnaround, the pressure is different. You know, this is not a one-off at the Diamond League. This is not your national team or whatever it is. It's 55,000 people actually likely in that stadium. You are now lined up next to competitors who are just as good or better. So I'm looking to see how he will do in the semifinals. But I think if he should do something good and advance, I would not be surprised whether in performance or time.
Yeah, look, one of the things, when you look at somebody's body language, especially when they're competing in high-pressure situations like this, it tells you a lot about where their mindset is. And he looks like somebody who is in Tokyo thinking, I'm going to be on that podium. He may not get there, but in his attempts, he could actually force somebody who is trying to be on that podium, who is one of the favorites to be on that podium, could force him into a mistake because he's that fast. Remember, 9.87 would rank him what? About 8th in the world this year?
At this time.
Which means that he's very close to those top 4, except for Kishane, who's 9.75. He's close to everybody else. And that makes him dangerous.
Let's go to the women's side now because Tina Clayton did well. She's the fastest Jamaican through to the semis of the 100 meters. She did 11.01 seconds in her heat. Danielle, how did she look to you? Because I thought she looked really comfortable.
Yeah, I think comfortable is the word. You know, starting out that way, I know a lot of people might say, well, she didn't go sub 11. But to go 11-0-1, to have Dina Asher-Smith, someone experienced in that field as well, sometimes that could play on your mind. But I believe after that first 50 meters, it was all her at that point. So right now, it's just for her to continue building on this. And as she told Andre, you know, having her sister there, feeding off her experience. We saw Tia do that last year and in the semifinals. But when it came to the finals, there was just a bit of a shift. So hoping that she's able to use that experience and take that not just into the semis but in the finals, where, you know, she could turn over an apple cart maybe.
So let's talk about Sharika and Shelly-Ann for a minute, because they finished second in their respective heats. Shelly-Ann 11:09 in heat 7. Sharika Jackson 11:04 in heat 3. Obviously not as ominous as they were in the past, but what did you take Leighton out of them running?
I thought Sharika looked really good. I think this is
Yeah.
the best I've seen her all season. I think she got a good start. She was in the lead at 50 and literally shut it down. The only reason why Sha'Carri Richardson caught her was because she had shut it down. And Sha'Carri's start is a big concern.
So hold on, it wasn't eerily similar to what we saw at the World Championships a couple of years ago?
No.
Okay, because again, Sha'Carri was on the outside, and I got the impression that Sharika wasn't aware that she was.
No,
on the
no.
I
outside.
think
Okay.
Shelly and Sharika just simply tightened up towards the line in 2023.
Yeah, and
and
got
Sha'Carri running without any pressure
Got caught, yeah.
got the better of them. She was all the way in lane 9,
Okay.
you know, unbothered by the Jamaicans. Nobody, you know, paying attention and using the
But,
you know, the
but
eyes to
Sharika
see.
looks like she's ready to run really fast again, possibly 10-7. Because when you look at how easily she ran the last 50, she was literally jogging the last 50, which tells me that she's in great shape, which is a good sign. But the concern I have, and it's something that I said before, Tina Clayton has been ahead of Sharika all season. And as good as Sharika has looked, does she get ahead of Tina in a final? I'm not seeing it yet, but I do admit she looked really good. Shelly, for me, was a bigger concern. Shelly's a front-loading athlete, meaning that she gets out fast, she accelerates, and then you have to catch her. We've seen it over the years, but everybody runs out of real estate before they can be able to catch her. She's not that athlete anymore.
Right.
When the last race she ran, when she was 4th,
Yeah.
she was 6th after the first 10 meters. And then she moved up to 2nd and then dropped back to 4th. Shelly's not going to close anybody out in a race because she doesn't have that speed endurance. Her strength has been her first 60, 70 meters. That advantage is now gone.
I think that, you know, regarding Shelly, it's something I've always paid attention to, even while, you know, as a former athlete at MVP. When she got into the blocks under the guidance of Stephen Francis and also journalist Walcott,
Right.
where she placed her foot, it's always very important. It's her toes are not directly on the ground in the blocks. It's more to the middle with her heel hanging up. I didn't see that. So when I didn't, I was wondering if it's because this is the preliminaries, you know, knowing the field. I'm not sure if that adjustment was made because of that. So it would be less quick power out of the blocks.
Okay.
Because the more you're up, she's quick and explosive. Mind you, at 38 years old, she might not have that anymore. But she did talk about several of that. You know, knowing the field, being a seasoned campaigner, she knows how to get the job done.
And
In the
also-
semifinals, I'll pay attention to
And
that.
there's also one scenario that I've actually discussed already, is that because of the knee issue that she's had, she's not going to use it until she really needs it.
to, yeah.
So she might be not pushing out as hard yet, but maybe in the semifinals where it's maybe required.
Oh, it's going to be required.
Yeah, she's going to have to push off it. Let's see what happens then.
Because she's going to be facing off with Julian Alfred, who
Oh,
was
Brother.
she is a supreme athlete, and we saw it in the heat. She's going to be facing off with her as well as Felicia Perry. I mean, that's just such a difficult semi, Daniel.
I think at this stage, all semis are difficult.
Touche.
But
True,
I think this is also an advantage for Shelley, strangely enough, because I think she will go into the race thinking that, all right, Julian is going to win this one. So, in my opinion, even her races from Hungary and coming into the championships. I think she was trying to just work on some specific things. I think she has been conserving energy, which is why I think even in this race, if you look at her reaction time, 0.18, that's very unlike Shelley in my view, right? So I think that knowing that she has Julian in her heat, she might just decide that, all right, I'm just going to stick in that, second spot, even though TT Terry, she tends to get out pretty quickly. So you don't really want that, having to force yourself and try to push yourself more than you do. But I think she has been conserving energy, and, we'll see what she does in the final.
So Tina will be in another semi-final involving the other favorite. I don't know if she's the number one favorite now, but we're talking about the American Melissa Jefferson Wooden, and Dina Asher-Smith is also in that semi-final. That's also so difficult, Trish.
It's the top two from each heat, and the next others will join in the final. And I believe that Tina just needs to focus on that. And I'm sure that's what Stephen Francis will tell her. You have to focus on your phase. This is not the final. You get no medal in the final. Your job is to get to the final. And when you know the field, it doesn't matter where you finish once you are in the automatic qualification. And she might be young in age, 21 years old, but these young ladies, the twin sisters, we have seen them on the youth stage. And being a part of the MVP track club, we have to give credit to the man and this team. They do a good job at preparing the women, to shine when they need to and get the job done. And I believe that she just needs to focus on getting out the blocks, complete her phases, and see where it lands her.
The other thing about it, I think, because Tina's a two-time World Under-20 champion, she knows what it takes to win.
Yeah.
She knows how to manage rounds. She has that experience, not necessarily at the senior level, but you can transfer some of that junior experience to the senior level. In the heat with Dina Asher-Smith, I'm not worried about that because she's clearly faster than Dina. You saw that in the heat this morning.
Yeah.
She was shutting down and Dina was still pushing and still unable to catch her. So I think all she needs to do is focus on her lane, what she needs to do, and realize that, as Trish said, this is not the final. So do enough to qualify, but have enough left for what is going to be a humdinger of a final.
Yeah, remember that the final is done on the same day.
Yeah.
So everyone going in, of course, they know the deal. You do enough, but not too much, because in a couple of minutes, 45 minutes or an hour,
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half. That turnaround sounds long in regular time.
But it's not.
But it's not for a sprinter who...
Because what a lot of people realize that you take about a half an hour to warm down.
Yeah. Get a flush out.
And then you literally, flush out, and then you have to literally start warming up again for the final.
Yeah.
Because warm-ups usually take about 45 minutes.
And the mental aspect of it.
Yeah.
Right? Because these athletes are already physically fit.
Right.
And you have to now work through that process when they go back up after the semi-final to the warm-up area.
Yeah.
And the next question is, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
Or are the legs feeling? Because no, remember, the body will be pushed. So anybody suffering from any niggle.
So the good thing is that there's actually no time to panic.
No, there is enough time to panic.
There is enough,
right?
but enough time to get rid of it.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that you have to remain focused.
Apologies.
You have to.
I'm so sorry.
You have to ensure that you get your hydration in. You get your lactic pushed out as much as you can with your physio. You have to make sure that your warm up is adequate, because there are so many different things that you have to get loose. Use the word too loosely for your warm up. You have to stretch. You have to do your drills. You have to activate your body for the final.
And that's important.
And those are the things
saying.
that you have to focus on.
Yeah.
You don't have no time to. You shouldn't have enough time to be thinking about anything else except the moment that when you step on the track, you are ready, you are warm, you are stretched, you are ready to compete and be your best in that moment. So if you have to take the time and start to worry about other people's business, it's problems.
But remember, Shelley Ann Fraser-Price gave the interview when she discussed last year what happened. And it wasn't a case where, had she gotten the chance to go around, she did say it would have thrown off everything, because they have their pattern in which they follow, the time frame.
Yeah.
Remember, they're sprinters. This is not you can chance out with maybe the quarter milers, 400 and 800, etc., where you can maybe build up into it. The sprint it requires a lot more, and getting, like Leighton said, the muscles having to get loose is very important.
Get them blood flow right and everything.
have to switch topic, and it's a topic that really broke our hearts this morning when we heard the news that Megan Tapper would not be competing at these World Championships. The national 100-meter hurdles champion out because of a hamstring strain. Daniel, I mean, it's disappointing for all of us because from our standpoint, and it's not just from our standpoint, it's fact, she was in the form of her life.
Yeah, and not just physically, but almost mentally as well. Like I know that she has that bubbly personality, but you could see after every single race, her confidence grew. She was saying, about, not having that kit sponsor, not having people believe in her, and that almost pushing her. She was in 12-3 form, getting possibly into 12-2, and who knows what could have happened if she had run. So it's definitely heartbreaking. This season has definitely been an eye-opener to see what she did in spite of, the other big names like Akira Nugent and Danielle Williams, who coming into the year before the season started, we thought these two would be our medal hopefuls. But to see Megan and her trajectory this season has been great. So for her to not compete is really difficult.
Lane, I know that you've been close to her. Have you heard from her?
Yeah, I spoke to her this morning. And actually, when I heard the news initially, I messaged her and said, "Are you okay?" And she said no. And then she explained that she had a hamstring strain. It's not a bad strain, but had she competed, it would have gotten worse. So she decided to, in the interest of her longer-term health, to not compete.
So what does this say about our prospects in the hurdles? Because that competition starts tonight, actually.
Yeah. We're good, man.
Yeah.
We're still good. And that's, again, we spoke about it at length yesterday, regarding how rich in talent we are as a nation. Danielle won 2 years ago. Because of her, we have 4 competitors. We would have had 4 competitors in that. We're now down to 3. Of those 3, other than Amoy Brown, the defending champion, she's good to go. I think, Akira Nugent, she has had such a stellar start to the 2025 season, sorry. And I can see that continuing. And I'm excited about it. And really saddened for Megan. It's really heartbreaking because when you go from having to build confidence because of injury, she was heavily strapped last year at our national championships. Since that Olympic bronze medal, she too, just like we are seeing with Kishane and a lot of our athletes, you become hungry for success. You want more. You want it to be more than just a one-off medal moment for you. And I think, Adidas taking a chance with her following her departure from previous sponsor. You want to serve them well.
Yes.
You want to serve them well. People think this is a joke business. Oh, she a Jamaican and she have on the national. No. When these agents step into the room, let me tell you, these people that they're negotiating with, they're brutal. Yep. They hit you with the nose. They hit you, oh, she's no good. Oh, he or she's 31 years old. And you start aging, So it's a tough business. So whenever our athletes or any athlete take a hit like that, especially at a major championship, fresh into a deal, you have to feel for them. It's their income, Yeah. That's their 9 to 5.
And you know what makes it even worse? The next major championship is in 2027.
Yeah. So you have to hope that, they keep working with her because, again, we heard which one of the U.S. athletes it was, he spoke out following his Olympic...
Daniel Roberts.
Daniel Roberts. And, they parted with the sponsor, the shoe sponsor, parted ways with him. So like I said, from earlier, we sit and we cheer for our athletes. But Donald, it's a business and it's a tough business.
We're switching gears. Samantha Hall, very significant. I know you're adjusting, Kishane. Talk to me about the fact that she's going to be in that discus final.
Listen, did you hear the show? Did you watch? Did you hear the show when she released that? 63.32 meters.
Wow.
What I love about the field events, it's a love-hate. But I'm going to tell you why it's a love-hate. Remember, who was it that was on the podium in the men's triple jump? Or long jump? Recently, and he almost had that bronze medal. We would have gotten the silver with Wayne Pinnock, and was it Kerry McLeod?
Yeah.
Right? And one jump, and he was off the podium. So I have a love-hate relationship with the field event because it requires series, but it also just requires sometimes one good jump, one good throw, and you're on that podium or you're into that final. Remember Tajay Gale, how he got that gold
Yes.
medal? You remember how he got to that final?
Final
and
jump.
Final jump.
Boom.
And,
69.
and then the next thing we know, the man got gold medal. So
Shocked every one of us.
Odain Richards with the shot put, also back in 2013 it
Yes.
was. So like I said, for me, seeing our field event athletes, not just, making up numbers to go to these championships anymore. They're really big competitors and you cannot count them out because, like I said, it requires just one huge moment. And I thought that, was remarkable for her and also for Jamaica.
You look, 64.97, as I said before, ranks her 18th in the world. So, and there are like 6 or 7 women over 69 meters this year, just with thing at 79, Alman at 73 meters. So you're not expecting Samantha Hall to go there and create some kind of miracle win. But for her to break through into a final for the first time for Jamaica is a significant achievement. And it follows upon what happened last year in Tokyo, where half of the medals that Jamaica won came from the field events. It's a movement among the field eventers in the last few years where we've seen it gradually getting better. I'm hearing that Jordan Scott is extremely confident that he'll be on the podium in the triple jump. I think a lot of that is emanating from what we've seen in the past few years from our field event athletes. Shanika Ricketts, we've seen it with Wayne Pinnock, we've seen it with Kerry McLeod, World Indoors. We've seen it now with Samantha Hall. It's unfortunate that sponsors and the general public don't view the
Are not
field events the
inclined,
same
yeah.
way as they do the track events. But it's still a movement, and it's a very powerful movement for Jamaica. And I think Samantha Hall, you can't take it away. No, she's the first. You can never
First Jamaican woman
You can never
to
take
ever
you
get
can
to the
never take
final
that away.
in a world
That
championships.
she's first, so she's creating her own niche in Jamaica's track and field history.
Setting that example. Switching gears again, because we have to talk about the mixed relays. Daniel, I'm looking
Do we
straight
have
at you,
to?
right? So I'm looking straight at you because you called it that expectations should not be high, and alas, they finished 8th in their heat.
I just want to clarify. I didn't say expectations should be high. There should be no expectations. And that's how I felt watching the race.
It was still disappointing, though, wasn't it?
It's disappointing. But let me tell you, the toughest thing about it is I am now sort of worried for Kishane Oakley, because for her to put out that effort and then she will have the 400 to run shortly. I know that you can obviously recover and everything like that, but that is my only concern from it. I had, no expectations, and I didn't expect us to finish top 3 anyways. I guess the way we finished that race with Leah Anderson on the 4th leg was pretty disappointing. She faded
Badly.
very, very badly. I don't think I've seen that since in a very long time.
I don't think you've ever seen it.
Yeah, so
No, I'm not trying to be denigrating. I'm just
at
saying
a major championship
Yeah.
for the country.
she
yeah.
was 4th, and it's like she hit a brick wall.
yeah.
It's rare when you see that kind of performance. And the thing for me about how that race ended with her is that in explaining what happened, she said she was trying to gain on the field. I don't know if that's a lack of experience. When you're running a 400, you don't try to get on the field as quickly as you do. You gradually work your way back into the race. You don't expend all your energy to get there. You're not going to have anything left. That's why they call the 400 meters the bear killer, because when the bear jumps on your back, you ain't going nowhere. But the thing about it, just to follow up the point about Kishane Oakley, what I will say in her defense is that she's had a very long season. She's been competing since January, and she's had about 2 or 3 PBs this year. I think she's probably just tired.
Yeah.
Remember, she ran 50 point when she went to Georgia. She was at a 51. I think.
51.
She went down to 50 point. Then she went down to 50.18, and then she went down to 49.65. That's 3 peaks in a year, in a season, and she's not the biggest person in the world. And I think for the season to have ended collegiately in June, it is now September, so it's June, July, August. and we're mid-September. I just think her body is just running out of
Which
gas.
which also brings me to, in summary of what Daniel and, because for me, this is not me give a chance to get a trip, right? A lot of our athletes there, of course, they earned the right to be there. Now, for me, I'm going to have expectations of you because you're donning the national colors. If I don't expect anything of you, I find it to be disrespectful to you, first and foremost, because you're in our
Personal
national.
pride.
It's not only about representing Jamaica. And Shelley said it in the interview. She said you're representing yourself first. So I have expectations of our teams. Now, what you do with that is completely up to you. Now, for me, with the team that is there, we had athletes that we could have chosen. Remember, yesterday I said here to you, gentlemen, that we have to send out a quartet, that it's like a final. USA makes no mistake about Alexis had to run those two and she has a 4x4. Right? We 4 hurdler, Fegme ball.
Femke ball.
Right? She shows up every time in the mixed relays,
Although
even
she didn't show
indoor.
up that time, but yeah.
But to be fair,
She ran last night. She ran in the final.
Yeah, she ran the final.
She ran the final
no,
for
I was
them.
talking about in the heats.
No, but hear what I'm
I get
saying
what
to
you're
you.
saying.
You have to show up. We had other athletes we could have chosen. Unless those athletes did say, I'm not available to run, and I'm not sure why they would, because they're there to do nothing
but-
else.
but I
Shaquina Foot is there.
I know, but in hindsight, though, everything is always clearer in hindsight. On paper, that team was a strong team, you know.
No, it wasn't.
Zan
When was the
Bar-
last time Leah ran?
At trials.
My point exactly. So they're not race sharp as well in September.
That's the point, that they weren't really sharp. Because,
Which means they shouldn't have been selected. I think that's Trisha's point.
but you could say the same for most of the Nikisha
But-
Price hasn't run since
But I think
trials either.
but I think it goes back to my very first point, is that over the years we haven't treated the mixed relay with any form of importance.
and I agree with Daniel on that. But
so-
this
no,
time,
no,
Daniel,
but no.
we had
but
quality.
what I'm saying to you is, if this was, for example, the traditional 4x4, 4x1 or everything, our coaches and our athletes and even the technical staff would be motivated to send out their best. But because there's never been a wow, let's put out our best team, we're just going to continue making the same
We
mistake.
cannot play playing fair and send people go England and Barbados and everywhere if we're going to joke out the thing. We'll take the money. We could have got the field event athletes them then.
Yeah, the
Well,
thing
that's
about
a
it
good-
is this.
That's a good point, actually.
The point you made about being race sharp is very important, in that a lot of the athletes who won at national championships in June have
run
not
six.
raced much
Mhm.
since the trials in June. And more specific to the point, is that there's a consensus that for you to be race sharp for any championships, you need 5 to 7 races to get that level of performance.
I know sports day, no, come on to your classroom, come on in.
We have to wrap this up quickly, right? But let's look ahead to the 400 meters quickly, because the men will be taken to the track early in the morning. What are your thoughts, Bovell, Rasheen, Antonio, Delana Kennedy as well, among our men taking part, Leighton?
I'm in a wait and see mode.
Ray?
Yeah, because
It's the same race sharp issue that you're talking
yeah,
about as
because
well, eh?
we haven't seen Antonio Watson
Yeah.
that much. Last race he ran was 44.89.
Mm.
He hasn't run since that point. This was a week before 2 weeks before the
Yeah.
championships. But he hasn't run much between that. He's a defending champion.
Yeah.
I think he has run 2 races
Yes.
since.
So I don't know what to expect from him. Rasheen McDonald, we saw him potentially capable of running 44.4 at the national
Why are you laughing,
championship
Trish?
and shut down 15 meters from the tape and ran 44.89.
Yes.
Delano Kennedy, I don't know. I've never been able to understand what anything about him, because he looks good today and then he looks terrible tomorrow. There's not that consistency for me to see him saying, okay, Delano has a great chance of advancing. So I don't know. So I'm playing wait and see.
Trish, are you playing wait and see as well?
Are they playing wait and see? Because clearly we have sent a team of wait and see. But anyhow, for me, the minute, was it Wade Van Niekerk that ran 43 the first time out of lane 8?
Yeah,
And he won. The 400 meters, similar to the 400 hurdles men, with Christian Warholm. If you're not running a certain time, you're just there for making up numbers because you're in at the batch and you get selected. So I think for me, I've been disappointed with our men. I am really happy when Antonio Watson went on to have got that gold medal 2 years ago. But, working his way back through injuries, I'm not going to be too critical of the youngster. As for Rashid McDonald, I think it would be more my fault of having expectations.
Stephen Francis said it best to me. He said, Rashid, you don't know what you're going to get from one day to the next.
And that's even on him, if you're going to be honest with yourself, he will share the same sentiment. Delana Kennedy, I think he's still trying to, himself and coach Shaniki Osborne, this is his first full season, getting to do pro work, making a national team. So I'm hoping he can at least get to the semifinals or have a PB even in the heats. I'm not going to be too critical of the youngster.
Daniel, come in quickly.
What I will say is I have a little bit more optimism towards Antonio because we know that he's had the injury struggles. But to run 44.89 2 weeks ago, that tells me if he continues to build up and he is in decent physical shape, I think that he can get as far as maybe the final. I'm not saying that he's in medal contention because we know that the contenders are running 43. But if he can get to a stage where he's running maybe 44.4 or 44.3, then who knows? But I think that gave me some optimism, knowing that he is building up towards that.
Leighton, quickly, in the high jump, we have Romain Beckford and Raymond Richards to look forward to. They're competing early in the morning at 4:40 Saturday morning. What are your expectations?
All right, here's the thing. The high jump for the last 2 years have not been as good as it used to be.
Right.
We don't see the Bondarinkos, we don't see Barshi. We don't see these guys who are usually over 2 meters 38. If either gentleman can get over 230, which they both have attained that mark already. If they can get beyond 230, 232, I think they're in contention. Because I don't think there's anything. I don't think there'll be anything spectacular in terms of a winning mark in this event. So I think both are capable of getting to a final. Let's start with that first, advancing to the final, and then see where we take it from there.
So we're all still optimistic, right? That's it for the
guarded optimism for me.
Guarded optimism. It's a far cry from yesterday, isn't it? Like what a difference a day makes. Daniel, come on, you're the resident.
Well, I was practical from the start.
You're practical,
yes.
So it hasn't changed.
Not for me, no.
It hasn't gone a shade below.
What would change though? Because I think everything based on whether medal or finalist for me, I think it's still on par. It's going according to plan.
So regardless of news
I never
of
factored the
people
4x4 team even getting to the final.
True.
But that doesn't, that don't change my medal tally or whatever.
So the news of a particular athlete panicking or what have you doesn't change your.
Well, me never did have him to win anyway.
Wow, I had him to win, and I think what needs to happen is a reset.
Yeah.
Because as I said before, this is going to be a very crucial championship for him. He has to understand the gravity of the moment and understand what needs to be done.
Yeah.
When he steps onto that.
He's really good, So I have him on the podium, but like I told you, gentlemen, yesterday, I think that. For example, our Jamaican Kishane Thompson, as well as Noah Lyles, I think that they are just ahead with just their level of confidence and their competitiveness.
Guys, it's been fun as usual. Daniel, Trish, Leighton, glad that you're here with us on the Sports Club podcast, courtesy of the Jamaica Observer. We're looking forward to the upcoming days, and I'm sure the medals will come flying in, starting as early as Saturday morning. Or Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, yeah.
I'm getting confused with the days, but
it does.
It's only day one. It's only day one of waking up early. Wow.
I'm not even sure what day of the week I'm in right now.
On behalf of everybody here behind the scenes, and of course these lovely people on the set, it's goodbye for now, and we'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.